Drake isn't just having a rough week. He's in full-blown damage control. Posts are vanishing, old allegations are resurfacing, and past songs suddenly sound far more sinister than anyone remembered. While the internet fixates on Tyler's old tweets, the real firestorm has been quietly building beneath Drake's feet. And what we're about to uncover might completely change how you see one of the biggest names in music. Today, we're peeling back the layers of what could be the most damaging chapter of Drake's entire career. This isn't just about ghostwriting rumors or petty beefs. It's about a decade-long pattern of troubling behavior, suspicious silence, and a fan base that's been defending him on autopilot. We're connecting the dots, from Bella Harris to Millie Bobby Brown, from deleted tweets to dark lyrics. And by the end of this video, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. Drake's past isn't just catching up to him. It never really left. Before we dive in, let's get real. Who do you think has the most skeletons in hip-hop? Drake, Travis Scott, Tyler, or someone else entirely? Drop your answer in the comments below and don't hold back, because after this, you might just change your vote. And if you're not subscribed yet, now's the time. We go deep every week. Drake built his image on being relatable, the soft-spoken emotional rap star who made vulnerability cool. But lately, that image has begun to fracture. What fans once saw as authenticity now feels more like strategy, and the cracks in the mask are finally showing. It's not just one incident, one scandal, or one diss track. It's a pattern. It's a trail of strange moments, questionable choices, and stories that just don't seem to add up. In the middle of a major credibility crisis, Drake did something unexpected. He replied to a random DM. Out of 142 million followers, he chose to write a senior quote for a fan. Harmless? Maybe. But when you think about it, that choice out of millions stands out. The awkward line he wrote wasn't just cringeworthy. It was a reminder of the ghostwriting allegations that still follow him. Because if that's the best he can come up with on his own, it's no wonder people keep questioning who's really holding the pen. Meanwhile, the internet went after Tyler, the creator for old, edgy tweets, and leading the charge? Drake's own fans. The same people who go silent when real red flags surface about their idol. It's performative outrage at its worst, rallying around morality only when it's convenient to cancel someone outside there. Let's be clear, Tyler has addressed his past. He's owned up to it in interviews, lyrics, and even full albums. He's evolved. But Drake's defenders use Tyler as a smokescreen, trying to deflect and attack anyone aligned with Kendrick or Pusha T. In the end, it backfired, because when you play dirty, the dirt always comes back. Charlemagne the God called it out way back in 2009. Drake's energy has always been strange, and that strange energy never really went away. From suspicious relationships to questionable behavior, the timeline has been shady for years. Bella Harris was just 16 when she was first linked to Drake. Kylie Jenner was reportedly underage when rumors started swirling. Millie Bobby Brown was only 14 and texting Drake. These aren't isolated incidents. They form a pattern. Posts vanish. Screenshots disappear. Videos go dark. The very content that raises eyebrows suddenly goes missing, and not by coincidence. It's the oldest trick in PR. Erase the past, deny the narrative, and hope no one asks questions. But people are asking, and the silence speaks volumes. What's more suspicious than a damaging allegation? When all the receipts mysteriously disappear. In the past few weeks, both fans and critics have noticed something strange. Posts, tweets, and archived clips calling out Drake's behavior are vanishing. Screenshots have gone missing. Accounts that expose him have disappeared. Videos containing damning commentary or evidence are being made private, scrubbed, or muted. This isn't just old content being cleaned up, it's a digital purge. A full-scale erasure campaign designed to rewrite the narrative while the rest of the internet stays distracted, arguing about Kendrick and Tyler. And here's the thing, you don't delete something unless you know it looks bad. If Drake has nothing to hide, why are the things people remember suddenly untraceable? Because for every deleted tweet, there's a truth someone doesn't want you to see. And if you listen closely, the silence is deafening. Let's talk about the music. Drake's track Houston, Atlanta, Vegas was once seen as a smooth, moody anthem, a laid-back ode to nightlife. But with everything we now know, those lyrics hit very differently. If that song was even loosely inspired by real experiences, it paints an uncomfortable picture. The line between art and autobiography starts to blur. That track, once celebrated as a vibey early hit about dancers and late nights, now feels more like a disturbing diary entry. Listen closely to the lyrics and ask yourself, who is he really talking about? What kind of reality inspired this? Because knowing what we now know about his connections with much younger women, that song doesn't sound like a harmless flex anymore. It feels like a red flag wrapped in melody. And here's the chilling part. That song was on So Far Gone, the very beginning of his mainstream career. Long before the ghostwriting scandals or public scrutiny, he was already writing lyrics that, in hindsight, raised serious questions about who he was off camera. This isn't paranoia, it's pattern recognition. Houston, Atlanta, Vegas might just be the first breadcrumb in a trail Drake never expected anyone to follow. Let's list it out. Bella Harris, Kylie Jenner, Millie Bobby Brown, Baca Not Nice, a convicted offender and longtime OVO associate. These connections aren't coincidence, and it's not cancel culture to question them. It's accountability. And the fact that so many fans choose to ignore these patterns? That's not loyalty, that's denial. Let's stop pretending this is all new. Drake's controversies aren't the product of cancel culture, rap beefs, or media smear campaigns. They're the result of years of ignored red flags. And now, the internet is finally pulling out the receipts. Let's start with Bella Harris. She was reportedly 16 years old when the world first noticed Drake spending time around her, dining together, reportedly flying her out, and even shutting down a restaurant for a private evening. The optics were disturbing. The age gap made it worse. While no official claims were ever made, the timing alone was enough to raise eyebrows. Then there's Kylie Jenner. Drake's name was linked to her when she was just 17, still underage, while he was a man in his late 20s. Even if you believe the PR spin that they were just friends, it's the same pattern every time. Drake pulls close until it becomes a headline, then retreats into silence. But it gets worse. Let's talk about Millie Bobby Brown, just 14 years old, when she publicly said that Drake was texting her for boy advice. While much of the media shrugged it off because, well, it was Drake, the public didn't forget. Why is a 30-something global superstar texting a teenage actress? There was no valid explanation then, and there's no excuse now. And then there's Baca Not Nice, a longtime OVO affiliate with a very public criminal record. Instead of distancing himself, Drake embraced him, calling him family, signing him to the label, and proudly promoting him. What kind of message does that send? One or two of these incidents might have been dismissed, but this many over this long can't be brushed off as coincidence. When Kendrick Lamar dropped Not Like Us, it wasn't just a diss, it was a dossier. Kendrick didn't invent rumors. He amplified whispers that had been circling for years. And Drake's response? Weak. Because when the truth gets too close, even the loudest artist runs out of bars. Not Like Us didn't just shake the rap game. It rattled Drake's entire foundation. This wasn't your typical back-and-forth diss track. It was surgical warfare. Every line was a precision strike, layered with innuendo, coded shots, and buried truths that mainstream audiences only began to unpack after the fact. And that's what made it so powerful. Kendrick never said the quiet part out loud. He didn't have to. He simply pointed the flashlight, and the internet did the rest. Every bar in Not Like Us dripped with implication about Drake's reputation, his inner circle, and the uncomfortable whispers that have followed him for years. The song wasn't a reach. It was a reminder that these conversations existed long before the beef. Kendrick just transformed industry gossip into a cultural reckoning. The result? A record-breaking anthem that turned speculation into consensus. Because here's the truth. They Not Like Us wasn't just a taunt. It was a moral line in the sand. Kendrick was separating the artists who stand on authenticity from those who hide behind marketing, money, and manipulation. And deep down, everyone knew exactly who he meant. Drake's response came off weak, defensive, unconvincing. He tried to bury the moment under bravado, sarcasm, and denial. But Kendrick's bars hit harder because they echoed what people already suspected. It's why even after the dust settled, Not Like Us became an anthem, while Drake's response tracks evaporated within days. One was built on artistry, the other on damage control. And let's not pretend the industry didn't notice. Major rappers who once defended Drake suddenly went quiet. Media outlets that used to call him untouchable started posting timelines. The same ones fans were dissecting on Reddit and Twitter. For the first time in years, the narrative wasn't controlled by OVO's PR machine. It was controlled by the culture. Kendrick didn't create the rumors or invent the accusations. He simply amplified them. And he knew exactly what would happen once the world started connecting the dots. Because when you spend over a decade playing the perfect guy, it only takes one record, one truth that rhymes a little too well, to turn the world's favorite superstar into its biggest question mark. Drake fans love to claim victimhood. He's being targeted, he's misunderstood. But what if he's not? What if the stories, posts, and whispers all trace back to who he's always been? Tyler, the creator, took his past and turned it into growth. He weaponized it into creative evolution, making Igor and Call Me If You Get Lost. He evolved. Drake? He hides, deletes, distracts, and somehow still gets painted as the innocent one. Here's the truth. When you play the game of outrage, there's always a bigger fish. And for Drake fans try to play gotcha with Kendrick, Tyler, or anyone else, all you're really doing is drawing more eyes to your own guy's downfall. You wanted smoke? Now it's all eyes on the OVO chimney. So go ahead, deflect, cry victim, pretend none of this is real. But at this point, we've seen enough. Drake isn't spiraling, he's sinking. Not because of Kendrick, not because of Tyler, but because he's built an entire career on hiding things. And now the mask is slipping. If you've made it this far, drop a comment, not for clout, but just to let me know you see it too. Because whether it's ghostwriting senior quotes or dodging red flags, we're not looking away anymore.